Hello viewers and welcome to Africa and Beyond Television Network. We are here to continue to take a look on what is happening in South Africa. Remember, South Africa is trending in these past 2 weeks because of the elections and what really happened. The ANC failed to reach a majority and they were at 40% with the DA following at 21%. But a lot of people are now taking a look on the decision taken by the ANC to have a government of national unity in South Africa. And various responses and analysis are coming through to actually ascertain whether South Africa can stomach a GNU at this point in time. And various analyses are coming out. Let us take a look on Kudzai Mtisi ZANU PF activist who gave this analysis. This is how he views these things. And to a certain extent, I will need to agree with him to a certain extent. He says, President Cyril Ramaphosa announced that they are engaging parties with the view of forming a government of national unity. It may be a good idea, but it may not happen for many reasons. Here is my biased take. The reason why I'm dealing with this is because he admitted that he's not going to give a biased take. So this is key of everything we are going to talk about right here. So number one, we have to know that there are 18 political parties present or represented in parliament, and to get every political party, the 18 of them, to agree to form a government of national unity, it's a very huge task. And also to leave one political party for another, it means you have sidelined other political parties willingly. They need to say, we are not coming to that GNU on their own. So you will see that all these political parties, especially those with one or two candidates, they will also find it difficult to have their members have positions in this government. That is a fact. So most of the political parties and their leaders derive relevance from opposing the government. And 5 years of no opposition won't be easy thing, and there will always be some folks willing to stay as opposition so as to remain relevant. This is already happening. Right now, we are told the MK is not willing to join this thing of a GNU. We are told the EFF is not willing to join this thing of a GNU, which means they view it as it's better to remain in the opposition than to be absolved and neutralized by ANC and DA. So ANC is forgetting that it has 40% and there's a possibility that the other opposition parties can unite and unseat the ANC. That's a reality that the ANC seems to forgetting. This is politics. People make deals with anyone for the sake of power. It might happen that tomorrow you'll see DA uniting with all other parties and say, okay, this Bruch must go. It can happen. So the DA cannot form a coalition without the MK. And the MK is the kingmaker of any opposition coalition. As long as DA-ANC coalition is not on the table, MK becomes the party that can scuttle any plans by the DA to form a coalition government of opposition parties. So MK is very important at this point in time. No matter the circumstances, 15% of the MK is very, very significant. If you put it together, 15.5, 14.5 of the MK, if you put it together with that one of the ANC, of Julius Malema, it's a very significant number. It's a big number. It goes beyond or above DA itself. So the ANC has so many options to pick from, and these options are acceptable to the majority of South Africans. The GNU option will face opposition from those who are totally against the inclusion of some parties. They will opt to stay out of the GNU and be the opposition. They will keep their political relevance. So here's the danger. The danger is if MK pulls out, if EFF pulls out, and Ramaphosa goes on with this one, you will start to see motions being moved in government by the opposition. For example, they will come and reintroduce the expropriation of land without compensation. Cyril Ramaphosa, being an unpopular figure right now in the ANC, will try to defend that position together with DA. And there is a possibility that some MPs will start from the ANC, will start to be influenced by MK and EFF. How is that going to happen? you start to see massive protests happening in the areas, in various areas, like the areas where the MK, the EFF have strongholds. You still start to see protests happening. Once that starts to happen, the ANC will say, you have to leave. They will dismiss Ramaphosa. So you will see that this GNU is going to make some people within the ANC lose positions. And the future of the ANC will be threatened because the MK and the EFF will be gaining more relevance, and they are already big and popular, which means they'll gain more relevance if that is to happen. Which means those in the ANC, they'll say it's either they'll have to leave and let the ANC sink, or they'll have to remove Ramaphosa and save the ANC. So you'd see that that is something very important. So the EFF and the PA and MK will see the GNU proposal as a way of forming a government that includes the DA. They will choose to stay out and leave the ANC to the provisional case of death. No matter how we disagree, no matter what, this is a fact, and this cannot be washed away. This will be a very, very, very sad situation for the ANC. So he says lessons from Zimbabwe. I do not know if I'm going to agree with the lessons from Zimbabwe. We'll see. Let us go through. He says after the 2008 elections in Zimbabwe, there was a hung parliament. ZANU PF controlled the upper house and the opposition had control of the lower house. This forced ZANU PF to negotiate with the opposition from a government to form a government of national unity, which means ZANU PF was in control of the Senate, MDC was in control of the members of the National Assembly. So it was difficult because of the massive polarization and ideological differences between the parties. However, with President Mki's mediation, the GNU was formed. It included just 3 parties. From 2009 to 2013, there was virtually no opposition in Zimbabwe. ZANU PF used the time to regroup and reorganize. The elections were held in 2013. ZANU PF won massively, shocking the opposition. This is a fact, and this is a true point right here. This is the reason why you see Nelson Chamisa is refusing to be co-opted by ZANU PF. Once you are co-opted, you no longer oppose its policies and you are no longer vibrant. During the GNU, you would see that there are people who were lazy in terms of delivering what they were supposed to do. They were not. They were comfortable. They thought the GNU could go for around 8 years, but it was cut short. What they were expecting is not what happened. So they forgot the reason why they were there. They even forgot in parliament to oppose some of the things which were happening. Morgan Tsvangirai could have put his boys together to say, guys, we need to stand our ground and make sure that we oppose ZANU PF. There was supposed to be some troublesome people from the opposition. So you see that the GNU, yes, it might be a huge advantage to the ANC according to what he's saying, but if you put together the context of Zimbabwe and the context of ANC, these are 2 different scenarios. In Zimbabwe, all the oppositions were in agreement with the ZANU PF, they were working together. But in South Africa, the challenge is the MK will be the opposition, the EFF will be the opposition, the DA will be part of the government. The DA will try to outsmart the ANC such that they win a bigger chunk of the vote in 2029. So what it means is you are going to see battles happening in between. You are going to see ANC and DA, they will start to fight for the control of 2029 elections. Once they've started to fight, who is going to benefit? It is going to benefit the MK and the EFF, who will be out. So you would see that on this one he missed this point very much, which means this is going to hound ANC and is going to push out ANC because ANC will be outmaneuvered, number 1, by the DA, number 2, by the MK, number 3, by the EFF, which means they will have to lose. But South Africa having the blacks as the majority, have been voting for the ANC, and EFF and MK, they share almost a similar ideology to the one of the ANC. The people will simply shift from the ANC to the MK and to the EFF, and that will be the demise of ANC. If DA survives up to 2029, it will be grace, because there is a possibility that they will make a lot of mistakes which will force the people of South Africa to go after DA, which might lead to its extinction. So I believe that going into a GNU, yes, it might be a good idea, but it's a very, very, very risky and dangerous idea. So here, these are the parties who are in parliament in South Africa. This is National Assembly, ANC with 159, DA 87, 58 for MK, and 39 for the EFF. So IFP 17, IFP and DA almost the same. PA is on the side of EFF and MK. Then we have VF plus, you can go to the side of DA, Action SA to the side of DA, ACDP, UDM, AT, all these other political parties right there can work with DA, the majority of them. So these are the parties right there. So you will see that to a certain extent, I agree with Kudzai Mtisi right there. But I believe that it will be very risky for the ANC to actually consider a government of national unity. Yes, it might work for the people of South Africa. It's a better option than going into a direct coalition with DA. But without MK, without EFF, it will still be a coalition of DA and other smaller parties and the ANC. It won't be national unity because two other political parties would have left. And these are key determinants. And given that there is a chunk of people who still believe in Jacob Zuma within the ANC, people who still hate Ramaphosa within the ANC, given the time they took to reach a decision, it's a sign on its own to say this is not going to work. So to a certain extent, I agree with him. I do not know your thoughts regarding this, but I think I've given my own views. Okay. Sadzaranaka says ANC has completely lost power and they're trying to remain relevant. It's unfortunate that opposition is too many parties and cannot unite to be one. Sakapaka. Yes, that is a challenge. I don't think that they are going to have that happening. Bottom line, opposition parties have huge parliamentary majority, full stop. Yes, they have huge parliamentary majority, but it's difficult for the ANC, sorry, for the EFF and MK to have an agreement with the DA. It's something very difficult to reach because remember, EFF and MK, they have prospects of growth in the future, which means it's going to be it's going to be a challenge. So with the EFF completely threatening to leave MK also out, then what it means is this is going to be an ANC-DA coalition. It won't be a government of national unity at the end, which means this is also going to hound the ANC. This is going to hound the ANC and is going to cause a lot of trouble. So this is what we are taking a look on. This is Kudzai Mtisi ZANU PF Murakashi giving a view in terms of what needs to be done. Okay, John Williams says, I have not supported the ANC for the past 30 years, but I would rather go with the ANC as Zuma and Malema Lucifer's descendants. Okay, John Williams, let me tell you this. You just yet blacks, but let me tell you that the bigger Lucifer is the DA. The DA, those who perpetrated apartheid are the bigger Lucifers, and there is nothing you do to wash it away. And Steenhuisen, your leader, has shown that he's very, very, very arrogant against the blacks and is a racist. The remarks he made against the EFF and the MK, they angered me, and I will never support that nonsense. We watch and see. Let it happen, and you see what is going to happen. Without the EFF, without the MK, Ramaphosa is gone. I'm telling you this. Ramaphosa is gone. Is not going to survive for a year. That is what is going to happen. So it is what it is. We'll continue to watch and see what is going to happen in South Africa.